this type. Can I just confirm that you can all hear me or at least see me? Good.
We hear you loud and
Uh,
clear.
Excellent. So welcome everyone. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good night, wherever you are. This is the beauty of the diaspora. You never know where people are at this stage. So, habari, mujebare, nigahe, wherever you are. Thank you so much for joining us today as we launch the Global Diaspora Engagement. This is hosted by the State House Diaspora Unit. And the intention really is just to bring government closer to Ugandans abroad through information, engagement, and collaboration. First and foremost, I would like to thank Duguba Gonza and your team for having invited me actually to facilitate this discussion. Some of the discussions that happen in the diaspora, often people maybe rightly or not rightly argue that government is not listening. So for you to reach out to the different voices in the diaspora to bring them on board to help and facilitate these discussions is evidence that you're interested in the things that are happening in the diaspora, you're interested in diaspora voices, and you're happy to put yourself on the line, as it were, so that we can actually ask you and find out what's going on. I've been privileged in a way to know what you've been up to since you launched the WhatsApp group, and it's amazing to see the level of interaction that has been happening on the WhatsApp group, and therefore the kind of plans that you have going forward. So why are we here today? Can you still hear me? Very good. My apologies. I don't know what happened, but I think the powers that be, these internet techie people have cut me off. But anyway, we're back. We're back. My apologies for that. I was explaining why the diaspora matters. It's not even just about the remittances. I will talk about those very shortly. But tonight, the whole purpose is to get your questions answered by the diaspora unit. The diaspora matters a lot in terms of numbers. And I think most of you will have seen the report that was shared recently by the Bank of Uganda in terms of our remittances. At the moment, we send about 2.5 billion US dollars. It's a lot of money. For me, what I found interesting, once you dig into the numbers, you look at about 16 million transactions recorded, about 61% of those on mobile money. The US alone sent about 700 million US dollars. You know, one thing about diaspora remittances is that these numbers are very significant because that money goes directly to serving the economy. It goes to paying school fees, to buying food for people. So these numbers, it's the evidence of Ugandans out there who are working really hard, and most of them will be on this call listening in. So we value what the diaspora is about. The little that I have known about the diaspora unit is that one of their focus really is on information, making sure that official updates from government, the various ministries get to you in terms of the things that you get involved in, whether it is land, whether it is documentation, whether it's welfare, that there is consistent engagement with government and collaboration as well as that. What this unit is not, though, it's not a political platform, even though it's the State House Diaspora Unit. I think the intention is that we should be talking together, regardless of our tribe, regardless of our religion. And it does not replace legal advice. It tends to send you in the right direction. So the kind of things we're going to be talking about in terms of the program, and I'll wait for one of our colleagues to get into so much detail about this, but it covers a broad array of aspects, whether it is investment, whether it is documentation, remittances, health and education, land and property. Land seems to be a big contentious issue. Welfare and your rights, enterprise, startups and innovation, and your civic voice. Last week and throughout the whole of this week, we've been talking about this bill that seems to have rattled the diaspora. So that civic voice is also very important. So these are the kind of discussions you can expect to hear from Mr. Bagonza and his team on what plans they have for us as the diaspora unit. So before we proceed, I just wanted to share some housekeeping rules. Please, if you want to speak, use the raise hand button, ask your question, and we'll respond to it. I'll call you by name if you do that. However, there is also a Q&A option. If you type in your question, I can very easily look at that question. Colleagues on the platform can also look at the question. And if it's a question that is very simple and easy to respond to, someone can respond almost immediately. So the questions that will not be answered for whatever reason or the other, we'll make sure that the team goes back, reviews, and gets back to you. So use the chat to communicate, use the Q&A to ask your questions, and hopefully hang in there long enough that we can have an interesting discussion at the end. So allow me to introduce our panelists today. They are headed by none other than Mr. Mohammed Bagonza, who is the Senior Presidential Advisor, and he's the Diaspora Affairs and Head of State House Diaspora Unit. I have had an opportunity to meet Bagonza on a number of occasions. He's very energetic, very enthusiastic, very engaging. His career began in 2003 when he served as a board member of the Uganda Broadcasting Council under the Office of the President. He later on transitioned into civil service as a personal assistant to the Minister of Security before joining Ministry of Public Service in a similar capacity, also serving as a liaison officer for the minister. His great work was noticed by His Excellency when he appointed him eventually as the Senior Presidential Advisor and Head of the Diaspora Unit at State House, where he has been instrumental, including recently where you may have seen us all join this WhatsApp group that has over 900 people and growing. But beyond this, he's a genuine person who has a strong advocacy and passion for culture and heritage. I didn't know this until today, but he also serves as a speaker for Bururi Kingdom. And that position highlights his deep passion for culture, for preservation. He's also the founder of Manya Culture Foundation. These guys utilize film to raise awareness about human rights. So without further ado, please allow me to welcome Mr. Mohammed Bagonza to share his remarks and give us, tell us about this diaspora unit, what it's all about, the plans you have for us throughout the whole year, where this diaspora unit emerged from, what is your mandate, etc., etc. Please take it away, Mr. Bagonza.
Thank you very much, Dr. Dennis, for the moderation. My name, like I said, Bagonza Mohammed, Senior Presidential Advisor and Head Diaspora Unit, State House. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished members of the Ugandan Diaspora, colleagues who are present today, and the partners, I all greet you from the different time zones, wherever you are. I welcome you on joining of today's webinar meeting. Of course, when you look at the registration, I see a number of people from different areas like United Kingdom, the Gulf Coast, North America, Europe, South Africa, Asian, and East Africa, where I'm present today or I'm based. You may be in the different time zone, professions, and environment, but you are one Uganda community. and community of generations, profession, policy. This unit serves all of you without exception. Over the past months, we have engaged many of you, particularly through the Global Diaspora WhatsApp group. The message has come through very clearly. The diaspora want to be engaged, want to be heard, and contribute meaningfully to the national development, because you still have the heart for your country. This webinar series is our response to that call. Allow me to briefly introduce my team. I have a skeleton team here. I'll begin with Mr. Wabiona Henry. Many of you in the diaspora, you have also interacted with him, the number of forums. Mr. Wabiona is a private secretary and deputy head of the diaspora unit. We have Dr. Hilary Musoke. I call him doctor, but PhD. He's a senior presidential advisor in charge of agribusiness and value addition development, and also in charge of partnership development in the unit here. Mr. Tofa Masiko, hopefully everyone I'm mentioning is showing the face and is seen. Tofa Masiko is our liaison officer, and many of you are interacting almost on the daily basis. We have Mr. Timothy Nkonge. I don't know whether he's part of the webinar here today, but Mr. Nkonge is a senior principal legal officer to the HE, the president. At the same time, is also attached to the unit here. We have Ms. Andrew Chibumba. Ms. Andrew Chibumba is our lawyer in the unit. And we have Mr. Mutabazi Annington, who is our communication officer. So he's in charge, Mr. Annington is in charge of communications. Mr. Pius Kawenja is our ICT support officer. He's as well here with us. Mr. Angabirano Benjamin, who is my personal assistant. And the ninth one is Madam Kebirunji Sandra, who is our admin officer. Ladies and gentlemen, I may wish to inform you that in 2023, His Excellency the President of the Republic of Uganda created the State House Diaspora Unit, the Influence and Engagement with citizens living abroad, and to harness the full potential of the diaspora for national development. Our mandate is to provide an effective bridge between Ugandans living in the diaspora and the presidency, or with the government MDAs. One of our objectives is to enhance access to services and information for Ugandans in the diaspora. Every Ugandan abroad count and is heard, voice maintained, to mobilize the community for investment, innovation, and socio-economic development. In the many forums where I have attended, I've been raising this seriously. And the first objective is to safeguard the Ugandan interests abroad. At the same time, it is important also to clarify on what we do not do. We are not NIRA, we are not migration, we are not consular service, and we are not dispute resolution body. Our role is to coordinate, to connect, and to ensure your issues reach the right institutions and are followed up promptly and properly. We are doing a lot of work in the background because many of you reach us with different issues, even with the WhatsApp group we created. Many people have been reaching us with different issues, and many times they have been addressed promptly. And where we cannot answer immediately, because I know you are going to put many questions to us, we will be able to do so, and we will give a clear timeline on when we will come back to you with answers. The diaspora remains one of the most valuable national assets. In 2025 alone, recently you saw when Bank of Uganda and IFAD with our team, represented by us, Dr. Hilary Musoke, were launching the dashboard, where they highlighted the Deputy Governor, Bank of Uganda, highlighted remittances alone in 2025 reached approximately 2.5 billion US dollar. That is about 9.525 trillion, directly supporting families, education, health care, and businesses. But your contribution goes far beyond remittances. It includes investment, skills, knowledge transfer, innovation, and global networks that position Uganda on the international stage. Like I have always called you, that you are the very first ambassador. Because for you, you have lived in those countries. Our team, which we send from here, the foreign service officer, when they come, they find you, and you have big experiences, you have network, and almost you know what is done. So you are always our ambassadors. That is why organized engagement is not optional. It is necessary or necessity. A consistent rhythm of engagement through this platform, a bi-weekly webinar every 2 weeks, focused on priority diaspora issues. This, of course, our colleague, Mr. Masiko, will highlight this in the appropriate time to tell you how these weekly webinar engagement are going to be. Direct engagement with key government institutions such as NIRA, Migration, URA, UIA, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and many other MDAs which is concerned about us. A more structured flow of information responses and follow-ups, and a platform where your views are not just heard, but consolidated and presented formally. Because you have been raising issues, a number of issues on the WhatsApp platform, where you are waiting, we need to have a structured engagement. But of course, this takes time. We had to prepare, engage different stakeholders, because we need people who matter. We need people who are in charge of worked on by the different stakeholders. Through this engagement, we will address issues that matter to you, as dual citizenship, many concerns here, visa and migration processes, because many times the colleagues call me when they are at the airport and say my visa is not approved and I want to come to Uganda. Land matters. Of course, we all have a big challenge on the land matters. And one problem which we tried to solve when they were creating the new system, the land information management system, the search letter, that time we agitated and included the face recognition on the system. That's why today you can see our face, because the issue when I am in the diaspora, how do we know, or how do I know that Bagonza Muhammad, who is selling Miran, is the actual one? So we tried to put and indicate to the Ministry of Land that it should have the person you are dealing with is the right person. National access, investment opportunities, and emerging national issues such as protection of the sovereignty bill. We have been in fire in the last 2 weeks about this. So that's why we have this platform to clarify engagement and solutions. Let me also say this. One of the challenges observed is fragmentation. Many of you engage individually in small groups. That is understandable, but for your voice to have a real impact, it must be coordinated, structured, and aggregated. This is the role we are here to play. Our interaction with you will be more than just conversations. They will serve as a bridge that connects the government Ugandans abroad through information sharing, engagement, and collaboration. And we want you to get information on the real time, what is happening here. I encourage you to participate actively, engage constructively, and hold us accountable, because we are here to serve you. With that, I officially declare the Global Engagement webinar series open for God and my country. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ndugu Mohammed Vagonza, for those remarks. I like the detail that you shared in terms of your mandate, the origin of the unit, what you do, what you do not do, etc., etc. So I will get another opportunity towards the end in the Q&A section. So any of the participants who are online, if you have any questions that emanate from what Mr. Bagonza was talking about, please make note of them. We have a Q&A option in the chat, next to the chat. Please use that and put the questions there. I should say that some of them have already been responded to, but I think one, which was very interesting, about the one of these very interesting pieces of legislation hasn't been answered, but I see it's been moved. So I've made note of that. Whoever asked that question, do not panic. Your question will be answered. So we'll come back to this one. So now I'd like to move on to the next panelist, who is Mr. Henry Wabiona, who is Mr. Bagonza's deputy, and he's private secretary to His Excellency the President of the Republic of Uganda, and of course the deputy head of the State House Diaspora Unit. He has a Bachelor of Arts in Social Work and Social Administration and a Master's in Business Administration. He previously worked as a researcher in the Office of the President and later served in the Ministry of Public Service as a liaison officer and personal assistant to the Minister of State for Public Service. He hails from Bunyoro, and a bit like Mr. Vagonza, he's also a minister in the Bunyoro Chitara Kingdom as the head of protocol. Without further ado, please allow me to invite Mr. Henry Wabiona to also make his remarks as we move on. Thank you very much. Mr. Henry, if you could maybe let me spotlight you. There we are. And if you could unmute yourself, please.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Dennis. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished members of the diaspora, colleagues and partners, good evening, good morning, good afternoon to you all. It's my pleasure to speak to you today and share progress. As you are aware, the unit was created to strengthen engagement between government and the Ugandans living abroad, and to ensure that our diaspora community is well informed, connected, and supported. Ladies and gentlemen, since our inception, the unit has worked diligently to fulfill this mandate, and I'm pleased to highlight some of these key milestones that we have achieved at the diaspora unit. First and foremost, we have developed and rolled out the diaspora data management system, which is enabling us to register Ugandans abroad. And this is critical for better planning, improved service delivery, and ensuring that policies are informed by accurate data so that we can serve you better. Secondly, we introduced the Uganda Diaspora app. It's now available on both Androids, iOS, and iOS platforms. And this serves as a one-stop center where Ugandans abroad can access information, receive updates, and engage directly with government. Under this Diaspora app platform, you are able to access all other MDAs, ministries, departments, and agencies of government, so that you don't have to, open them through other websites. You can now find all services under one roof, called the Uganda Diaspora app. We are also in the process of establishing a diaspora call center, which will provide real-time support, facilitate referrals, and connect Ugandans abroad to the relevant government institutions and missions. This came as a result. Many of you have been meeting our leader, the president, and you raised the issue of not coming through sometimes when you reach out on the landline of our embassies abroad. So it was from that background that the president directed that center, whereby it can be accessed. It can access throughout the time zones across the group. In addition, including Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Ministry of Finance, Bank of Uganda, Ministry of Internal Affairs, the IOM, which is the International Organization for Migration, to implement remittances reforms. These efforts are aimed at reducing the cost of sending money back at home, the use of formal channels, and encouraging investment in priority sector such as agriculture, ICT, tourism, and real estate business. We have also undertaken diaspora engagement, the United Kingdom, Canada, the United States, Ethiopia, Kenya, and other many countries. The unit has also actively participated in a number of convention and international engagements, including Uganda-Canada Convention, Convention of Ugandans in Southern Africa, which is COSA, UNA conventions, Uganda Diaspora Homecoming Convention. We have had two of them, as you may be aware, my brothers and sisters. Then we have both attended conventions in Qatar and the UAE. As abroad, listen to their concerns, strengthen partnerships, and promote diaspora-led initiatives that contribute national development. Furthermore, through benchmarking exercises in countries such as Ethiopia, India, and Kenya, we are learning from global best practices. These insights are contributing to the development of a comprehensive national diaspora policy, which will provide a structured and sustainable framework for engagement going forward. Beyond these initiatives, the unit has also played a role in supporting Ugandans in distress abroad, including facilitating efforts for repatriation in collaboration with relevant government agencies and mission. Here, I want to thank our missions abroad, especially in India and in the Gulf countries, where we work together to make sure that our nationals come back home safely, especially those who were in distress. This reflects our commitment not only to systems and policy, but also to the welfare of Ugandans, wherever they may be. As we move forward, we remain committed to strengthening engagement, improving access to services, and ensuring that the voices of Ugandans abroad are heard and integrated into national development. Let me conclude by reiterating that the State House Diaspora Unit is here to serve you. We are here to listen, to connect, and to work together with you. Once again, allow me to thank my brother Dennis, Dr. Dennis, for allowing to moderate this very important program. As the head informed you already, we shall be, Mr. Topa will be giving us a highlight of what it's going to be for the next 1 year. With those few remarks, I want to thank you once again, and for God and my country. Thank you.
Thank you very much, if I may say, Arari, for your remarks. Very detailed and very helpful. There are so many government departments and institutions and desks, so to speak, that more often than not, we actually don't have details. We have an idea, but we rarely have these details. So I'm finding this really, really very helpful. And on that note, allow me to invite a third panelist today. And while I invite him, I may want to apologize, not just on my own behalf, but also on behalf of the Diaspora Unit. I think it was just an oversight. It happens that all the panelists are gentlemen. Please do not think that we are a bit sexist. It was not intentional. I think it's an oversight on our part, and hopefully in the next sessions, we'll try and get some gender balance. So apologies on that. But allow me to introduce our next distinguished panelist, Dr. Hilary Musoke. I have had the opportunity of meeting Dr. Hilary. He's a very interesting gentleman. He's an expert and development strategist and policy advisor with extensive experience in agricultural transformation, value addition, and rural livelihood enhancement. You know, sometimes when we're writing these profiles, sometimes you don't put the face to the text, but I've actually seen this gentleman championing agriculture, championing value addition. He's built bridges between research, policy, and practical implementation. He remains a strong advocate for shifting Africa's agriculture from raw commodity production to value-driven agribusiness systems. His approach is always emphasizing on innovation, inclusivity, sustainability, basically positioning value addition as a cornerstone for socio-economic transformation. So without further ado, allow me to invite my brother, Dr. Hilary Musoke, to come and share his remarks.
Thank you, Doctor. Colleagues, distinguished Ugandans, our brothers, sisters, and partners in development. Good morning, good night, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. Today is yet another day, and is the evening the Lord has made. Many of you over decades, we've interacted with you in different countries as our diaspora brothers and sisters. And over 10 years, you've been pushing for so many reforms in service delivery based on the challenges that our brothers and sisters in the diaspora have been facing as regards national IDs, passports, land issues, as Mr. Wagonza, our head, has briefed you. It is upon that background that His Excellency intentionally and deliberately established this unit. And you've seen a number of milestones ever since its inception. We've interacted with you in different forums, in the US, in Canada, in Germany, in South Africa, in Tanzania, in Kenya, world over, wherever we can reach. And remember, as a deliberate effort by the President of the Republic of Uganda, he invests into these trips for us to come and explain to you how your country is being run, what programs are ongoing, how do we solve the issues affecting our diaspora people. Ladies and gentlemen, I first of all wish to appreciate you, our diaspora Ugandans, for the continued hustle, for the work, for the ambassadorship of representing the Ugandan flag over the different countries, wherever you are. You really make us proud, and that's why we deliberately have to serve you and coordinate with different MDAs to see that they can really improve on service delivery. Yes, we work with a politician, but also the President of the Republic of Uganda. This diaspora unit is non-partisan. We are all technical people advising the President of the Republic of Uganda on diaspora issues, challenges, guidance. But many of you sometimes take us to be politicians, but no, we are not. And when we are serving, irrespective of your religion, irrespective of your political party affiliation, irrespective of your tribe, we serve a Ugandan in the diaspora. That's why I request all of you, please, to be free, work and share views, be objective. It is a beginning. There could be gaps here and there, but let us discuss and rebrand our country, Uganda. This is our motherland. You have a gene and DNA inclined in either Chanamukaka, Mbarara, Chiruhura, Vugisu, wherever you are. You got another one maybe, but still we must build Uganda. Maybe your contribution can help a grandmother, an auntie, a brother who never got a chance to travel to those high developed countries. But as always, I tell you, Uganda is on the move. Like any other African country, Uganda is one of those African developing countries. So a lot is still lacking, but a lot has been done under the leadership of our president. We appreciate the contribution you do to this country in terms of remittances. You saw the 2.5 billion contribution last year. And now when we are at the time when Uganda is trying to jump from a 65 billion economy to a 500 billion economy dollar, diaspora contribution is very key. And it is through you people who have gotten exposure, better technology, better skills, better quality education, better salaries and income that you can really help us to achieve the 500 billion target of Uganda. You are very much aware about the tenfold growth and the ATMs, where the president has strategically directed to look at agriculture, agribusiness, tourism, to look at manufacturing, minerals development, and science and technology. And you see when you are there, most of you in the different of Ugandans in the diaspora, in the medical area, in the engineering departments, in the aerospace engineering. It's upon this that the president wants you to really contribute through skills transfer, knowledge transfer, and see that we build our country. In 2025, we saw an increase in the diaspora remittances. This is not by accident. Some of you, our colleagues there, you know that very well that Mr. Bagonza, Mr. Wabiona, Dr. Hilary Sanja here, over decades, 12, 15 years, we've been interacting with you. And the voices you gave us, we've been directly forwarding to the president of this country. And it is upon this that you are seeing a lot of improvement. You remember when Mr. Bagonza used to carry a briefcase of passports to bring to Kampala and exchange for different Ugandans. But now passports are following you where you are. So there's a beginning. So dear brothers and sisters, let us join hands and deliberate and see that we change Uganda. But allow me to share my thoughts from a perspective of agribusiness and value addition. You know very well that agriculture is the backbone of Uganda's economy, and it employs majority of our young people, the women, and sustains livelihoods, the villages and in the urban areas. You know very well that for us in Kampala and other cities, we depend on food grown in rural areas. So the real opportunity lies in adding value to these agricultural products. Colleagues, you are in those countries, you eat chocolate, very sweet, but the chocolate comes from Uganda, from Bundibujo, from Chagwe, from Bulemezi, from Kayunga, as cocoa. Most of those countries where you are, I don't think many of you have seen a tree for cocoa. But whenever you come back to us here, you bring us chocolate, very expensive. And some of you don't know that the raw material for chocolate is cocoa. So we want to see that how do we industrialize our country? How do we add value on our cocoa? Coffee, how do we add value on our coffee? The nice shoes and belts and the leather bags we are putting on, pure leather. Our cows from Ankole, from Bugisu, from Karamoja, all the hides are just taken in raw form. How do we bring money and set up industries? You see our minerals, cobalt, lithium, gold, all have been swept away in raw form. So we want to see, how do you use these skills to come and make gold refineries, make gold products like necklaces, watches? Why are we importing all these phones when you are very much aware? For example, lithium and cobalt are used to make these phones, and in the computers, it is abundant. It's in abundance in Kasese, but you find that we are importing phones, laptops, everything we have. That means that we are promoting what the president calls an economic hemorrhage, whereby we are donating money to those countries and the jobs for our young people by putting money in containers, taking form of raw materials, and then we buy back the product. So we believe that with your expertise and experience, you brothers and sisters can really come here and invest. Good enough, government has set up deliberate interventions by putting money in Uganda Development Bank, putting money in Investment Authority, putting money in commercial banks for agriculture, putting money under Ministry of Finance for industrializing the country, trying to reduce on the cost of electricity by setting up so many other dams, trying to reduce on the cost of investment on the loans, to see that we deliberately and intentionally promote industrialization. So, dear colleagues, Uganda's location as a landlocked country surrounding Kenya, Tanzania, Rwanda, Burundi, Sudan, Somalia, Ethiopia, is an opportunity for us to tap into that bigger market of over 300 million people. So whoever invests and makes a product in Uganda, you are going to maximize your profits. Secondly, our location as a part of Africa and in the middle means that whatever product you make can penetrate from Uganda to another country. You know very well that our supermarkets here are filled with imported products. The president is trying hard to see that you people come and invest. The environment is very okay. Ugandans, the peace is available. You may see whatever you see on social media, but colleagues, at least Uganda compared to other countries, and knowing where it came from, we are somewhere. So as you come onto this webinar and discuss and tell us your challenges, we are going to be your mouthpiece. We are going to be the link between you and the president and different government agencies. We promise you and really pledge to you that we will always take any input, any suggestion, any contribution in a positive perspective, and we are not going to have any negative energy, but we want to make sure that you people out there appreciate government services, appreciate the leadership, and also solve your problems. Dear colleagues, we thank you so much, and really we are so humbled for sparing time and attend to this Zoom meeting to see that we build Uganda for God and my country. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Doctor. I know that you would have wanted to go on, but obviously in the interest of time, we have to move on. But thank you very much for your contributions. Please do stay behind. I'm sure there will be one or two questions around entrepreneurship and specifically within agriculture and value addition. I'd love participants to benefit from your insights. Now, lastly, but by no means least, please allow me to introduce our last panelist, so to speak, Ndugu Tofa Matsko. I have intentionally abandoned all the other details about Masco and just put one fantastic picture. And it's very appropriate that it's following from what Doctor was talking about in terms of agriculture and value addition. This gentleman has literally embodied the call for agriculture and value addition by winning the National Best Coffee Farmer Award. Maybe he's going to talk about it. I don't know. But Tofa is the head of liaison and partnerships at State House Diaspora Unit. He's also a former affiliate contractor with the Department of Defense in the U.S. government. So he's a man of very many talents. So Tofa, over to you, please, if you want to share a few remarks and then share the detailed plan and engagement strategy, which is really the reason why we're here. I have managed to get it ready for you. You just have to let me know when you want me to share it, and then we can go through it. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dr. Aguma. Good evening, everyone. Good morning. Greetings to everyone. Like they said, my name is Tofa Matsko, and I work as the liaison officer with the State House Diaspora Unit. My task today is to take you through the webinar series that we have prepared that will run through the month of April up to December, end of the year. And each session will be a bi-weekly webinar, meaning we are going to have webinars every month at an interval of weeks. And these are going to be held on every Wednesday, live streamed on our YouTube channel, and open to all members of the Uganda Diaspora. We also intend to make sure that we have appropriate senior government officials, institutional leaders from relevant ministries, departments, and agencies that will be invited to each session, engage directly with the diaspora. Let me just quickly go through the series of our webinar as we have prepared them. We are going to have the first webinar on 29th of April, that will be next Wednesday. And the theme is constitutional and legislative affairs. In this, the topic would be the sovereignty bill, what it means of Ugandans abroad, citizenship rights, and your voice in the process. And the panelists, we propose to have Anthony General's Office, Minister of Justice and Constitutional Affairs, Minister of Internal Affairs, relevant parliamentary committees, and constitutional law experts. The second webinar will be on 13th of May. That will be another Wednesday. And the theme will be documentation and citizenship. And the topic will be national IDs, passports, body repatriation, and dual citizenship, a complete guide for Ugandans abroad. And in this case, we shall have panelists from NILA, probably the Director General or the Deputy Director General, shall have a Director of Citizenship and Immigration, Minister of Foreign Affairs, Consular Division, Uganda High Commission, London, UK, LADA, SB. Our third webinar will be 7 May, and the theme will be land and property. The topic will be land ownership, title searches, and real flags every Ugandan abroad must know. Then the panelists will be from Uganda Registration Services Bureau, Ministry of Lands, Housing and Urban Development, Uganda Law Society, and licensed conveyancing specialists. And the fourth webinar will be on 10th of June, and the theme will be remittances and finance. In this, the topic will be sending money home and building wealth, remittance, diaspora savings, banking, and investment vehicles. We intend to have on board Bank of Uganda, the Uganda Bank Association, Minister of Finance, Planning and Economic Development, selected commercial banks with products of diaspora, and Bank of Uganda Customer Protection Unit. Our fifth webinar will be on 24th of June, and the theme will be welfare, rights, and consular services. In this, we shall have our topic focusing on Ugandans in distress abroad, consular support, labor rights, child welfare, and how the State House Diaspora Unit can be of help. We shall have panelists from Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the Diaspora Affairs Directorate, Uganda Embassies, High Commission, regional representatives, Ministry of Labor, Gender and Social Development, and State House Diaspora Unit Welfare Desk. Our sixth webinar will be on Wednesday, July 2026, and it will be on agribusiness and value addition. We look at agriculture, agribusiness, and value addition investment models, coffee export, land lease, structures for diaspora. And we'll have on our panel a senior presidential advisor on agribusiness and value addition. We'll have Uganda Export Promotion Board, Minister of Trade, Industry and Cooperative, Minister of Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries, and Uganda Free Zone Authority. Our seventh webinar will be on Wednesday, 22nd July, and this will, the theme is Digital Economy, ICT and AI. And the topic will be Uganda's digital economy, ICT investment, AI, BPO, mobile communication, technology and opportunities for the diaspora. We shall have panelists from National Information Technology Authority, NITAU, Uganda Communication Commission, Ministry of ICT and National Guidance, and Uganda ICT Association. Our eighth webinar will be on 5th of August, and the theme will be health and well-being. And our topic will be healthcare investment in Uganda, mental health support for Ugandans in diaspora. And we shall have panelists from Ministry of Health, senior officials, Uganda Cancer Institute, Diaspora Health Professionals Network, mental health professionals, Uganda-based in diaspora. And on our ninth webinar will be on 19th of August, and it will be externalization of labor as the theme. And the topic will be Ugandans working abroad, labor rights, employer contracts, Gulf kafla services, and the return journey. We'll have a panel from Ministry of Labor, Gender and Social Development. We'll also have Ugandan Association of External Recruitment Agencies, Uganda High Commission in the Gulf region, and Return Migrant Workers Representative. On the 2nd of September 2026, we shall have our 10th webinar, and the theme will be education and skills. And the topic will be Uganda universities, schools, scholarships, and skills transfer, options for diaspora children, and returning professionals. And we'll have on our panel Ministry of Education and Sports, National Council for Higher Education, Makerere University International Office, Uganda National Examination Board, Skills Transfer Program Representative. On 16th of September 2026, we shall have our 11th webinar, that will be Civic Engagement and Diaspora Policy. This and our topic here is your voice in national policy, diaspora policy, and the sovereignty bill. How the diaspora, how the state house diaspora unit channels your input to government. In this, we shall have on our panelists, the senior presidential advisor on the diaspora affairs, Minister of Internal Affairs, Minister of Foreign Affairs, Diaspora Affairs Directorate, constitutional and legal experts in Uganda's Law Society, diaspora community representatives, UK, US, Gulf, and Canada. On 30th of September, we shall have our 12th webinar, and the theme will be investment and enterprise. In this, we shall have a topic covering investment in Uganda, Uganda Investment Authority, pathways, incentives, free zone entrepreneurship opportunities for the diaspora. We'll have our panelists from Uganda Investment Authority, Ministry of Trade, Industry and Cooperative, Uganda Free Zone Authority, Private Sector Foundation Uganda, and Uganda Export Promotion Board. On 14th of October, we'll have our 13th webinar, and the theme is energy, oil, and critical minerals. The topic will be Uganda's energy sector, the critical minerals investment entry point, the oil pipeline, and renewable energy for diaspora investors. We'll have on our panel from Ministry of Energy, Mineral Development, also have Uganda National Oil Company, Electricity Regulatory Authority, East African Crude Oil Pipeline, Project Officer, and Renewable Energy Developer. On 28th of October, we shall have our 14th webinar, and the theme will be banking, tax, financial compliance. And the topic will be bank accounts, diaspora tax obligations, due taxation, treaties, and staying financially compliant in Uganda. Here we shall have on our panel Uganda Revenue Authority, Bank of Uganda, Uganda Bank Association, and selected commercial banks with good diaspora products. And on 11th of November will be our 15th webinar. And our theme will be land succession and property protection. We'll have our topic as protecting your Ugandan property from abroad. Mile versus freehold succession will be a power of Anthony. And on our panel, we shall have Uganda Distribution Services Bureau, Land Registry Division, Ministry of Land, Housing and Urban Development, Uganda Land Commission, Housing Finance Bank for mortgage products. On 25th of November, this year we shall have our 16th webinar. And the theme is FinTech, Digital Finance, and Entrepreneurship Success. And our topic will be focusing on Uganda's FinTech revolution, mobile money, and digital success stories, Ugandan who have come back and built. And we shall have panelists from Bank of Uganda Digital Finance Unit, National Information Technology Authority, NITAU, mobile money operators, Uganda FinTech Association, diaspora returnees who are already here. And on 9th of December, we shall have our 17th webinar. And our theme is East Africa Integration and Inter-Africa Diaspora. We shall have the theme will be East Africa Integration, COMESA, Corridors and Inter-Africa Investment, opportunities for Ugandan diaspora across the continent. We'll have on our panel the East African Community Secretariat Representative, shall have COMESA Desk, Uganda Embassy in Nairobi, Dar es Salaam, East African Business Council, Inter-Africa Trade Specialist. And on 23rd of December, end of the year, homecoming, we'll have a review of the diaspora impact on diaspora milestones, Christmas homecoming, guide for Ugandan returning home. And we'll have, of course, our senior president advisor and head of the State House Diaspora Unit and his team, diaspora members, testimonies, Uganda Tourism Board, Uganda Police Force for safety briefing. That's how our series are going to flow from now, April up to December. Doctor, back to you.
Oh, thank you very much, Topher. I felt at some if you are reading the national budget. You clearly have put together a huge list of activities, and it's impressive the kind of breadth of topics that you've actually covered. Agriculture to healthcare to fintech and innovation to investment to land. It's very impressive, very impressive. Well done for you and your team, Mr. Bagonza. This is a now, my role really today was nothing but to facilitate a discussion. And I have been looking at some of the questions that have been coming through. Now, this is the time to actually go through. I need to go through them on the system here. I think there's been a slight mistake. Some of the questions were marked as answered when they actually haven't been answered. So to be fair to those who asked the questions before, I'm going to go back through the questions and then we'll answer them one by one. Maybe colleagues, I don't know. We'll figure out who's going to answer which one. But let me go through them one by one. Yeah, the first question was by some anonymous attendee. This is very unhelpful. If you're asking questions of this type, you really should be comfortable to put your name behind it. But the question was, perhaps not surprisingly, that there is a negative buzz around the proposed sovereignty bill, which will affect the diaspora negatively, especially as remittances are concerned. Your take on that, please. And maybe before someone responds to that question, I think I've seen other questions similar to that one. Mutabazi Hannington is saying that the sovereignty bill is a hot cake, and indeed, your question will be responded. Okay. Another one, Moses Mawa. Moses, I'll come back to you on this question because it's talking about remittances and increased transfer of money into Uganda. So I'll pause on that one. And we'll come back to that one. I just wanted to exhaust all the questions around this sovereignty bill because it seems to be a hot potato. Angie is saying that the bill seems to target a few that are damaging the Uganda image. Can the government reach out and talk to them? Otherwise, it's not fair for all of us who are trying to be good citizens abroad and back home. Please get rid of it. Okay. The other question is by Geoffrey Namara. We'll come back to that one also because it's a different question. Anonymous attendee, I think I'll skip this one. Anonymous attendee, I think your question has been asked already. Let me keep going. So those are the ones that have presumably been answered, but not answered in detail. Okay, bear with me. I'm reading this through as we go along, but I just wanted to exhaust all the questions on this bill, which has apparently been very exciting for the diasporans, to say the least. Daniel Kauma, there was a lack of consultation on the sovereignty bill, which is very impactful. Cabinet passed it already, and 3 readings have happened in Parliament. Why is the webinar being organized after Parliament passes the law? Doesn't that imply that you're not seriously considering and engaging with the diaspora? I'm not sure that is entirely accurate, but someone is going to respond to this one on this issue. So, if I may pass this over to I don't know who wants to respond this, whether it is you, Mr. Bagonza. I noticed that you mentioned that you have your legal counsel with you as well.
Yes.
Perhaps this might be an opportunity for him to get in. But over to you, Mr. Bagonza, on the issue of the sovereignty bill. You will have seen on the WhatsApp group last week, it was a hot potato. People almost, if it were possible for them to punch each other, that would have happened. Some of the questions and the individuals are asking, I think are not unreasonable. So it would be helpful for you to kind of share some more light on this. Over to you, Mr. Bagonza.
Thank you very much, Doctor. Indeed, we are grateful for all these outcome from our diaspora members. But it is very good that now the diaspora is starting to understand our role here. Because many times, and not in my address, I did not talk about it, but I'd also wanted to highlight the presence of the unit, because many people have been asking. The president is creating diaspora offices, and what is the role and what do you... So the diaspora should believe that when you are away, you need to have people with you addressing your issues, people are following your issues. That's why when the president was moving around the globe, the many countries he visited, many people had complaints that the issues are not things which none of you, the diaspora members, have attended the president, and those I have attended, people raised a number of concerns in terms of working on their challenges or issues when they are raised. That's the background why the president decided to create an office under himself. Because I recall when he was giving me instruction, he said, my people have raised a number of complaints, but I want you to help me find a solution or follow up these issues. Because when you raise both to him and then MDAs don't respond on these issues, it becomes monotonous, it becomes a problem. So my role or our role here in the office is to make sure when you raise issues with the respective MDA, we make sure we follow up, because there was nobody in between who can follow up the issues and they are solved. And this is what we are doing on a daily basis. But of course, people may not understand our role very well. But since our existence, Mr. Wabiona has highlighted a number of issues, a number of initiatives we have worked on. That's why today it is to renew a passport within 2 days. And you have received it in the diaspora, which was not the case. So now on the sovereign bill, or on the bills, we are working closely with our lawyers here. I mentioned Mr. Chibumba and Mr. Timose to gather information from members from different diaspora groups, and then we are going to be able to present them to the respective entities. And we are working on the background, because as the diaspora office, we cannot come, because this is a government bill, we cannot come directly to oppose the bill, but we are working to engage different stakeholders. We are engaging, even this morning, we had a telephone conversations with the Solicitor General. We are working with the President's team here so that they are able to summarize those articles which we think or which you think are a challenge to you. We are all concerned about the bill, and we shall make sure that those articles which bothers us are going to be worked on. And there would be, I know there would be some amendment on what we are doing on the ground. As well, we are engaging Parliament. But I have Ms. Andrew here, our lawyer. He can respond on the few aspects. I don't know whether Mr. Timothy is available to talk about the sovereignty bill. But Ms. Andrew, you are welcome.
Thank you very much, my boss. It's usually not proper to speak after your boss has spoken. Nonetheless, I have the permission. The sovereignty bill has been a talk all over the country, and its effect is not unique to only the members of the diaspora abroad. We understand that we have brothers, sisters, friends, and all sorts of people we are connected with, living both within the country and outside. To be a little more explanatory on the matter, we understand that laws are a result of a social welfare of the people. It is not the first time that the government is bringing such a law, or Parliament is bringing up such a law. You remember we had the issue of the Public Order and Management Bill. And at some point, there was a lot of backlash from the public. And we realized that before it was brought on board, there had been bombings like the Chadondo bombings that required management of crowds. Nonetheless, we have a group of people that also look at politically. But it has come to understanding that association requires organization, and the government has been quite alive to that. That principle was laid by a gentleman called Roscoe Pound, that the social way of living of our people is the determinant of what laws are put in place. So looking at the times under which we're operating and the global structure of events, the case, what is look at our borders ought to be kept intact. But you also understand that under engagement, if you look at our constitution, basically Article 79 to 91, it lays down the procedure under which the law is made. And it's therefore by practice.
I think we're having challenges with council. I don't know whether it's just me. Mr. Chibumba, you dropped off a bit. Are you back now?
Over the matter. Before the launch began, Dr. Dennis, I wish to inform the members in this meeting that we had an engagement, and
colleagues, can I just check? Is it just me or have we lost council? He keeps dropping off.
I think we'll see. Maybe. Okay.
Let me.
Yeah, he's back. You're back, Mr. Chibumba. You're back.
I'll connect to my.
Okay. Do you want us to hop on to the next question so that you hold on? Once you've connected, we can come back to you on that sovereignty bill, because I don't see that question disappearing very, very shortly. So maybe you hold that. Hold your.
I think this is more stable.
Okay, proceed.
Okay. So we had a meeting with the colleagues in office, and the reason my colleague is not part of the meeting is developing a working paper that we intend to share with the rest of the diaspora leadership to have different clarity over the matter. Like my boss said, we did not have a backlash over this particular issue because we have not yet even moved a half on the process of making this law. And there's still space for one, clarity on the different aspects. If I'm to comment, to be a little more legalistic over the bill. The bill has clauses that already appear elsewhere. Secondly, in other laws like the Anti-Money Laundering Act, Anti-Money Laundering Act, there are different sections that appear that side and they also appear in that particular act. We have articles in the Constitution which challenge particular sections in this same bill. Nonetheless, those points will be aired out because the purpose of the law is social welfare. And I think that's why His Excellency the President, in his wisdom, put up this fees and put distinguished technical or technocrats to help harness these positions where our diaspora are directly affected. And we shall get back to you over the same matter with the write-ups and engage the different leadership organs in the different states and countries where you are, so that we can have a meeting of minds. Further, we might also seek to have audience through the Clerk of Parliament and make these views quite clear. Understanding that it has been presidential policy, I've been seeing some of our colleagues on Dr. Hillary, you have been seeing Mr. Wagonza, you have been seeing Mr. Henry, and many others in their visits to the diaspora has directly sent them on different agendas to achieve particular goals, like on foreign remittance. And you see that bill also has an aspect that gargles the aspect of foreign remittance. So it's a position to be harmonized upon. We have had a system where we have to streamline documentation in regards to identity and citizenship. We have particular bills or sections in that particular bill that are not in tandem with the president or the executive's will. Therefore, it's another talk about, and the president invested heavily with the involvement of different systems. Work in progress, but we want to assure you that according to the agenda we have, and the different legal regimes that we have, and the principles that govern the law, that the law will be streamlined to the best of your interests, and therefore we shall have a good way forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Council. That's very reassuring. I think speaking as a diasporan, really all the diasporans ever ask for is to be heard. So your concession in that regard is very helpful and reassuring. And I must commend you as well. I think your first event next week is on the sovereignty bill itself. So perhaps if we could park this and address it in thorough detail at next week's session, which you've dedicated for the sovereignty bill. But Council, what you've shared is very reassuring that you're willing to hear the contribution and thoughts and feedback and ideas from the diaspora regarding this bill. I think all of us take the sovereignty of our country very seriously, but some of the questions that have been coming in the chats, it's use of words, the one that has infuriated people the most. So I'm glad for your contribution. We'll review that next week. I now want to move on to...
Before you proceed,
yes,
I would request that, well, because we do not have a global body which is legally binding all of us, we are going to deal with the respective associations. So members should put their views and send through, if you are from the United States, let it go through UNA, because in that discussion, we are going to have a meeting with all leaders globally. So like the same Europe, Africa, Southern Africa, like that. So it's better because it is also difficult to collect views different from individuals. Those who will pick from the group we can pick, but as well engage your leaders. So when we are doing that big consultation, actually most likely it's going to be tomorrow, because we are running out of time. We need to submit to request before we run off the deadline of the 24th. Thank you.
Okay, thanks for clarification. The good thing is that the Clerk to Parliament, the last I checked, I think there's been a concerted effort to receive views from as many in academia who have done some research around sovereignty. I didn't realize this was the case, but they are going to be making submissions from an academic perspective. So please proceed and make your views known. But I now wanted to move over to other questions. There are so many questions, there's over 20 questions. But maybe now that I still have you, Mr. Wagonza, there was a question here about the distinction between the diaspora desk in State House and the other diaspora desks in other places? Could you answer that very quickly, please?
Thank you very much. Like I elaborated, our role is very clear. We are trying to complement what Ministry of Foreign Affairs, because Ministry of Foreign Affairs is the overall coordinator or mandated to oversee the operations of the diaspora. But for us, as I said, we are acting as a bridge, because many times people have raised the issues and then you complain that respective MDAs, they don't respond. So our role is to make sure they respond. Whatever issues you have raised in terms of service delivery, passports, national IDs, border repatriation, we have talked about land management. So if there is nobody who is following up what ministry is doing what in terms of diaspora, that's why you see we have been lagging behind. At the same time, when I came in, we have agitated increase of diaspora desks. Why? Because before, many of you would call me, like Mr. Hillary said, when we would come to diaspora, would come with a very big bags of passport renewal, people requesting to help. So we did not have a contact within these respective ministries. Let me say Ministry of Internal Affairs, which is in charge of passport. It becomes difficult for me when you call me with a challenge. I have to call directly the permanent secretary if there is no desk. And the permanent secretary, you know, a permanent secretary is responsible. In a responsible ministry is an accounting officer, very charged with very many issues. So the man is very busy, or the woman. Sometimes you are calling, the phone is off. That's why we say, let's create where we have those ministries dealing with us in terms of service delivery. Let's have desks there. So when you call me with the issue of a passport, or when you have a challenge, I just call a desk officer in that ministry. And I'm happy to report to you, since we did this, we have no challenges, because we reach our officer director and immediately the issues is solved. At many times, like I have said, you have called me for renewal of passport. Many people have called me when they are at the airport. Someone go to the airport when he knows he's not a Ugandan, but he's traveling, you want to travel to Uganda. I have handled many cases. Immediately, I ask you apply. When you apply, you send me a reference, I send it to our desk officer, and the visa is approved promptly, and you don't go back home to wait for the next day.
In other words, if
The
I
same,
may,
yes?
sorry to interrupt, Mr. Bagonza. So, in other words,
Yes.
your role is that of Gayungirizi, as the Baganda say.
Maybe we can say that. Because before, when they call internal affairs, if internal affairs doesn't respond, it becomes a problem. That's why I said, the president said, please make sure you follow these issues which have been raised by the diaspora, and they are worked on promptly. Then in national ID, many people are testifying to me, those who come back here to renew their ID, when they go to NIRA, our desk is there, immediately the issue is solved. And that's what we have done in the Ministry of Land. That's what we are moving to do in different ministries. Our colleague in the office of the president, Ajwa Simbi, because you are aware Ajwa Simbi has been in the diaspora for many years, and the president also wanted someone to keep advising him, because he was appointed him before me. But majorly, his role is at the advisory services, and our role is more technical, about service delivery. Of course, we know the mandate of Foreign Affairs, but like I said, we work in complementary with Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and we have no problem. We are working closely. The other thing I should elaborate, Doctor, before you go away, is the issue of people saying duplication of services, duplication of structure. There is no duplication of a structure. I have worked in public service myself, and have been part of sometime this the structures formalization and then creation. When government see there is a need, there is an aspect of something, how do you address it? You change the structure of government and include that aspect. Like we have said, you are remitting over 10 million, 20 trillion. This is a very big resource to the economy. So they are taking you now serious. But I've seen where people are saying, no, they are duplicating, they are doing what? Government has now taken you serious. You have representative in almost all these ministries. They are able to listen to your issues. Then now you are fighting it. It is very important. It is easy for me to deal with this kind of structure. Because if it is the foreign affair, I call. And we have moved further now to create desks at all our embassies, diaspora desks at all our embassies. Before we have had consular service. But we are saying, let's have consular service and then the diaspora desk. And you know, all these embassies now, they have heads of diaspora desks, which is very easy. When I get issues there, you have raised an issue, it is concerned about the embassy, I call the desk officer. Respect. That's how we have to.
I want to move over very quickly to Moses Mawa. Because you talked about our remittances, and Moses mentioned that diaspora remittances increased 2.5 billion to 2.5 billion US dollars. What's the main reason for the $1 billion increase, and how can these factors be harnessed for more success? I have some response to that, but it's not my role to respond to that. I now want to move that question and get it, maybe I move it to Doctor to respond to it and combine it with Angie. Angie asked another question. How is the diaspora going to tap into the president's Agribusiness initiative? So perhaps if you could combine, Dr. Hillary, if you could combine the issue about remittances and the effect of that on our economy and the effect of these agribusiness initiatives, because I've seen you speak passionately about this. I've seen you meet investors coming to invest within our agricultural space. I've seen you championing value addition exporters. So the diaspora, how can they tap into this agribusiness initiative? What opportunities are there for the diaspora space?
Thank you, Dr. Nguma. First of all, I would like all our brothers and sisters who have contributed. I see my friend. But before I go there, you asked the increase in the remittances from 1.5 to 2.5 billion. I told you in my preamble that over the decade, we have been involved with the diaspora, and we have been coming there in the diaspora to get your views, to get the challenges, to see that we improve. Remember, our diaspora was so much fragmented. We didn't know where our people were by that time. Now we can able say, when I look here and I say, yes, I've seen Angie, I've seen someone. This one comes from this state. There is at least recognition. But before, 10 years back, we didn't have any available group that we knew. But now, due to these interventions, actually, you people, you are breaking my senior here, but Mr. Bagonza, for nothing. You people remember, you used to tell us that when we go to ministries, we are not helped. When we go to Ministry of Lands, you stand in lines. And yet you people have no time. When you come here, you're here for 3 days, 1 week, you want to go. So now, there's this person who is representing you in the ministry. Even here, for us, we are diasporians sitting in State House. I can count myself to be an American, a German, a British, sitting here in Uganda, because we are representing your interests. We were appointed by the president to make sure that we feel that pain you used to tell us. So that issue would just make you happy, know those and the team, to make sure that we address those issues. So when we are deliberating on behalf of you people, we are diasporians. So the contribution has been to the deliberate and intentional strategy. Yes, have been for when you know how many people used not to come back here. They used to know maybe there are wars, there are diseases, but now every Ugandan who gets money wants to buy land, sets up an apartment. The economy is booming, business is booming. Our people have traveled and they know that there is business. You look at these investors you've been talking about, Dr. Nguma, the Saudis, the UAE, the team from UK, from India, from Asia. Since the inception of this year, I've been in meetings with the president, bringing investors. For them, they are seeing the opportunity in Uganda. So it is high time that our Ugandans who have tried to become rich through earning money from the diaspora to come and get this opportunity. Why should an Indian come and set up a factory when you have even that money to buy such a machine? So it is the deliberate, intentional, and strategic interventions and establishment of this office, the Diaspora Unit, that has now been able to create an enabling environment to make sure that our Ugandans believe in the country. Then the last one, Angie's question on agriculture. Angie B, I know you are a good agriculturist. Come. The president has put there money in Uganda Development Bank for women in agriculture, women in industrialization, with very good interest rates. And also the grace period is okay. Deliberate for women, youth, but in agriculture and industrialization. Government has come up with interventions in Ministry of Agriculture to support those on commercial level, providing tractors, providing irrigation systems. Even at districts now, there has been a program where we have to really promote irrigation. You know, before Dr. Nguma, people used to depend on God to bring rain. Now the president is saying no. Even if you pray and pray and pray, sometimes rain may not come. So it is.
Dr. Hillary, I've lost you. Your sound has disappeared. Is it just me or Dr. Hillary, your sound has gone?
Institutions that are going to support you, come back and plant a tree, plant crops, come back and rear animals, involved in poultry. This is money where you can harness. Then also contribute to the industrialization agenda by looking at any industry, any enterprise. You can come and manufacture products for within your country, but also come back and stay home if you wish, because Uganda is on the move. Uganda is growing, and Uganda will get there. Thank you.
Now,
maybe my brother Bagonza is going to add on the remittances.
I'm going to bring him in on this other question because you talked about returning home.
On the remittance increase, that has been because of the constant follow-up. Because we have engaged Bank of Uganda, and we have raised the issue of remittance reforms. Where right now, we have been, Bank of Uganda has managed to license a number of fintech companies, Ugandan, to be able to send money back home. But before, many of these companies were foreigner, Indians, European, Eastern Union, and all these. These are not owned by Ugandan people. But for us to be able to reduce even on the transfer cost, if we have many Ugandan licensed companies, it will reduce on the cost. And I've been encouraging all along our members in the diaspora, those who are technologically clear, let's have many ideas with companies on how to send money back home. And like we mentioned, the money before, don't know how much, it was not distinguished in the foreign direct investment and the diaspora remittances. But working with IFAD, they have been able now with even the launch of and what comes from the FDI. So this is going to be, even as the year goes on, or the coming years, we are going to see an increase. The only challenge, the sovereign bill now, which that problem will be solved, and I'm aware that the president is very much aware about your importance and the role you play in the national economy, and we are also preparing for him a brief, because remember, he's the final man to put append his signature. So once it goes to him, he can also refer for some articles. Thank you very much, Doctor.
Thank you very much, Mr. Vagonza. I wanted to pick up on and I'm also mindful of time, so I'll try and go through this one very quickly. And please, when you're responding, try and be as brief as possible, because I want to fit in like 6 other questions. But before I do that, a number of you, I can see through the messages, have been asking whether this schedule is going to be made available. If I'm not mistaken, Mr. Tofa Matsko will actually make it available through the WhatsApp group. I don't know what other channels he will make it available, but if you reach out to him, he's going to make those schedules available. But there's another question from Angie, and I think this, Mr. Vagonza, you're best placed to respond to this. Does the government have programs in place for skilled Ugandans abroad so that they can return and build the country? I can relate with this question because I'm in that category. Over to you, Mr. Vagonza. Can you respond to Angie, please?
Yes, Doctor.
And I think while you're at it, I see Lydia has responded that through her office, there is a skilled database. So maybe if you can elaborate on that as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Doctor. On the skills transfer, the diaspora, we are working with step, I think few months back of service, where we are working out system on how the diaspora can be accommodated within the government setup. And under State House, working with the Ajata Amida, the president directed her to open up an innovation park, which will be constructed in Entebbe. So under the innovation park, we are going to have the diaspora hub for all our skilled personnel. When they come back, they can be able to go to that place, and they are able to be coordinated to different MDAs. At the same time, under our office here, we are trying to get space so that we can have space to all diaspora. When they come, you can be able to come here and have space to work. Maybe you are here for 2 weeks, you have somewhere to go. 3 weeks, 1 month. At the same time, now we are also capturing this to be able to deal if it is about medical, maybe for holiday, and what pro bono or services can be able to offer to different hospitals. So the issue now is to collect data. We do not have the data. That's why we encourage you to register with embassies where we have the data management system, and that data management system will tell us the skills, what you do, what you have experience in, so that how do you want to participate in the national development. Then once we have the data, we are able now to work out system. So I do not have my write-up here. I have put a number of proposals to government. I have I've discussed with the president many times, and there are many reforms which are going to come in, and anytime the president will make pronouncement about these reforms. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Vagonza. Now, colleagues in the diaspora, you will forgive me because this is very interesting. I'm looking just here at the number of questions that we have, and there are really too many of them. I don't think we'll be able to answer them in the time allocated. We're now clocked 2 hours since we started, and I can see we still have like 20 questions. However, can I ask Mr. Tofa and your team to please make note of all of these questions, and as agreed, respond to them at the beginning. I think I did mention that there's going to be a summary of all of this discussion, and I think it will be shared on the WhatsApp group. If I'm not mistaken, Tofa, you did mention that you will share the schedule of all of these events on that WhatsApp group as well, and that all the unanswered questions will get a response. So if you have a burning question, I've seen some of them around land. There will be sections, there will be webinars around land. Maybe you can hold on until that webinar around land. I've seen some interesting questions around healthcare, and I think Godfrey wanted to include healthcare insurance within that discussion. That's a very good idea. So please hold on and check on the schedule for the healthcare debate, and I think reach out to either Tofa or via the WhatsApp group. I don't know who is going to be picking up on this. Someone is talking about Federation of all Ugandan migrant workers. So that's about skills transfer. I think there's a section, there is an event around that. Let me see who else. There's an element around remote work. So that's a very interesting one. There is another question around State House collaborating with Prime Minister's Diaspora Unit, Minister of Foreign Affairs Diaspora Unit. I think you responded to that, Mr. Bagonza. So the questions are very many, and this is really testament to the level of engagement that you have actually put into this, and the desire and the need and the want for this kind of discussions. So I think as far as I'm concerned, I may have done my job to try and steer the discussion in the direction of giving assurance to the diaspora that the diaspora unit is going to be listening to them. So I think my job is done. Maybe if I could throw the ball back to you, Mr. Bagonza, share your parting shots and your rallying call and action points going forward. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Doctor. And I'm glad to thank the team for everyone who has managed to be part of this establishment. And I encourage we inform in the next webinar series, which we are going to begin. Please, let's have as many people as possible so that we are able to have these tangible discussions. Because I know information is very key. When you do not have information, you have a big problem. So, and we want also to avoid, at many times, when people are asking very many questions, which we have already dealt with and answered. So, and the people may say that, no, for us, we don't know, we are not seeing you, but at least this engagement, like we said, is going to be a whole year. And then after a whole year, now we shall move into other sectors. But in terms of skills transfer and development, is a very, very serious issue because we have many of you are experts in terms of ICT. So we need to harness from you and you contribute meaningfully to develop our systems here. For us, we do not have any problem in working closely with you and coming to support both when you are there and when you are here. And many times people have raised that government doesn't bother about them, but we know many organizations are headed by the diaspora people. We all know the head of NSSF came from diaspora. We all know Mr. Mukiza, the executive director, Uganda Investment Authority, is from the diaspora. There are many key personalities. That shows the heart the President of the Republic of Uganda have for you. But sometimes it is difficult for government or for people to come and say, whatever, we have done this, we have done this. But a lot has been done, and we know diaspora is going to be a very serious resource in terms of our national economy. And once we have concluded, I've not mentioned about the national diaspora policy, which the entire processes have been done. We have done the skills mapping, like Mr. Tofa said. We have done all the benchmarking. We have done most of the consultative meetings. And right now, we are here on the ground to do a big consultative meeting within the stakeholders here, and we move forward so that we have a law. Once we have the law, which is elaborating the structures and the systems of diaspora, it will be now a clear mandate. Who does what? Which will be very easy for us to even deal with the diaspora people. So with those few remarks, let's meet again on the next webinar series, which will be very soon. And we are making sure we are going to have very serious technocrat, mostly head of institutions or people who are very senior. We are not going to have very, very junior people in this. We want people who can talk policy. We want people who can talk decisions. Because once you have raised an issue, if there is an accounting officer is present, if a director is present, he can be able to go and change and implement the issues. Thank you very much. We meet again to the next webinar.
Thank you very much, Mr. Bagonza. Before everyone leaves, I've been seeing some of the questions in the chat. A number of you are asking about this WhatsApp group I've been talking about. I think it's fair to say some of you are not aware of it. So if colleagues could, Mr. Bagonza, if you could ask your colleagues, maybe Tofa, I don't know who is in charge, to drop the joining link in the group so that people can actually join the WhatsApp group.
They have already sent it. Members.
Oh, fantastic.
Members.
That's good. So that's
and
number
then
one.
We can be able, they can also distribute it to many people. Then
yes,
maybe
then
before you go, Doctor, we are going to respond on all the questions, and then we shall be able to send them on the group for people to view. And the contacts, when you look at the document, the work plan, we have our contacts there. People can reach us directly. And at the same time, every 2 weeks shall be summarizing whatever we have, a topic we have finished. We will summarize it, send it on the group. People have their input, and then I communicate to the different stakeholders about the outcome, and I follow up. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I see Tofa's hand is up. Tofa, do you want to say something? In the protocol, you don't usually speak after your boss has spoken. So you are on your own on this one. Your hand is still up if you want to say something, Tofa.
Thank you, Doctor. I was trying to make some clarification. The webinar series that we took you through today, we have sent a copy on our group. And on the last page, we have our email for those that had questions that were not answered. So you can go ahead and send your questions, and we attend to them. That was what I wanted to let you know.
Okay. Thank you very much, all the delegates who really signed up for this. In my own capacity as one of the diasporans, I want to thank the State House Diaspora Unit for giving me the opportunity to moderate this. I found it very insightful. And I'd like to thank Tofa Masco, Dr. Hilary, Mr. Henry Arari, and Mr. Bagonza, and your whole team in the background, including your counsel, Mr. Chivumba. Thank you so much for the insights that you've shared. And I want to commend you on this initiative that you've started, having these discussions around different topics. I will be joining in and looking forward to the next ones. But can I make a request, Mr. Bagonza, that on your next schedule, I think you mentioned that you're going to invite other diasporans to come and moderate. Can I suggest that you find a female so that we do some gender balance? I think that was one of the comments that people mentioned when they looked at the flyer. And I think it's a fair observation. So hopefully we'll find some fantastic, fiercely ladies to come and help us on the next session. With those few words, I thank you all for God and my country. Have a good evening.
Yeah.
Log out. Log outside.